With this Lori Vallow case, I've really had to channel my anger and frustration that Lori Vallow was not charged and arrested a long time ago, at least when Charles Vallow was murdered. And I'm already thinking about the books that are going to come out of the Lori and Chad saga. I'm already thinking about the Lifetime movie. I don't know if there's ever going to be one, but I suspect that there could be. This story has Lifetime movie written all over it. You have this woman, you have a few dead husbands, you have religion, you have a wedding on a beach in Hawaii. You've got this blonde Californian girl who meets this guy who is claiming to be a prophet. You've got people buried in the backyard. I mean, this story, you couldn't write it. I mean, it just has everything that you would. The truth is stranger than fiction in this case. If you were to write this story in a novel, no one would buy it. It wouldn't be a believable story. And but what's even more unbelievable to me is that the charges have taken so long. And sometimes it gets to the point where I'm not even sure there's ever going to be murder charges at all. I don't understand that. I can't get my head around that. There's a case in Florida where this lottery winner called Abraham Shakespeare, an African-American guy who came from nothing, he won the lottery. And this woman called Dee Dee Moore came into his life and tried to pretend that she was going to be his financial advisor. And not long after she came into his life, he disappeared. And he was found murdered, dead in her backyard. And within a few weeks, she was charged with his murder. And this was within about 4 or 5 weeks after Abraham Shakespeare was found in Dee Dee Moore's backyard. She was charged with his murder. She's now serving a life sentence, and she'll probably try to continue to appeal her case. And that's what I call efficient police work. She was caught. She was charged within a very short time frame. And that's what I call efficient police work. She was charged just a few weeks after those bodies were found in her backyard. And yet we are moving towards September and still no murder charges. I mean, I don't know if by the time I upload this podcast, maybe there will be. And, you look to places like Court TV and Law and Court and all that kind of stuff. You look for those channels to be accurate and to give you the right information. And so far, Court TV, which, by the way, I love, and I'm a really big fan of Vinnie Politan. I think he's fantastic. But you look to those channels for predictions. They were saying that Lori and Chad were going to be charged. Murder charges are coming soon. One of the people on there said that they think that murder charges would come for either Lori or Chad on Doomsday. We're way past Doomsday, and like I said, even if either of them are charged now, I mean, what were they waiting for? You've got this case in Florida, this African-American guy murdered and buried in this woman's backyard, this woman who was pretending to be his financial advisor. She was charged with this guy's murder a few weeks after his body was found in her backyard. And yet, it's been over 2 months. No murder charges? And in my mind, I've already been through the trial. They've already been found guilty of murder. They've already been put away for life. And And now the books are coming out. I would expect there to be more than one book on this case. I mean, this case is a mega case. So many elements and aspects to this case. And I'm already looking forward to a Lifetime movie. And I'm thinking about who's going to play Lori, who's going to play Chad. And I'm thinking about how much they're going to be able to fit, how much of the story are they going to be able to fit in an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes, which is the average time for a Lifetime film. I mean, I remember watching the Chris Watts Lifetime movie, and I want a Vallow Daybell Lifetime movie. I'm thinking about who is going to play Lori Vallow, who's going to play Chad. Will there be will they concentrate on the relationship between Lori and Chad when they met just after Charles was murdered? Or will they go further back? Will they examine the relationship and the dynamics between Tammy and Chad and their 5 children, and Lori and the guy she was married to before she even met Charles? Will they highlight how difficult it was for Lori as a single mother? And maybe the hardships that she had as a single mother, struggling to put food on the table, struggling to pay for this, struggling to pay for that. How her struggles as a single mother might have made her this money-hungry, greedy, self-absorbed person. How are they going to play the spiritual and the religious side of it? There's so much in the religious part of it, the Mormon part of it, the Mormon splintering off group, the preparing of people. How are they going to play? How would that play out in a film? How are they going to reenact the night that those children were discarded? I don't want to actually say the word murder because I can barely bear it, but I often wonder, often plays in my mind, how did it go down? I'm not sure if the kids were murdered at the same time. Was it that Tylee was murdered first? Was it JJ? I don't go into graphics on this channel. I keep this channel as clean as possible. If you notice, I don't swear a lot. There's not a lot of profanity. I like to keep the channel clean. I deal with true crime, but I'm more interested in the psychopathy of a person, the sociopathy of a person. Human behavior is really my interest. And obviously true crime feeds into that. My personal lives feed into that. Did it actually happen one starry night? Because somebody wrote a comment under a video the other day, and I thought it was really interesting. And I never thought of this scenario, because there could have been so many different scenarios to all of these deaths, all of these murders. Someone said maybe Lori Vallow was the one who actually pulled the trigger when it came to killing Charles Vallow, and maybe Alex just took the fall for it. I never ever imagined that scenario in my head. I always thought that, I know that Charles Vallow was murdered, but I always thought that Alex did it. It never occurred to me that, hey, we don't actually have a video camera seeing what happened. So who knows? It could actually have been Lori who pulled the trigger after all, and her brother Alex just took the fall. We don't know how things went down because we don't have a video camera to see what actually happened at the actual time of the ambush. There's so many ifs, buts, what ifs, whys in this case. There's so much to make into a movie. There's so much material. There's so much content. There's so much action. There's so much happening. There's moving around a lot. There's moving from Arizona to Idaho to Hawaii. There is, you've got 2 marriages, and you've got 2 dead spouses, and then you've got the dead children, and then you've got the splintering off into different groups. There's so much in this story. And like I said, I'm just already looking to a Lifetime movie. I mean, in my head, Charles Vallow, um, I mean, he was definitely murdered, but in my head, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, they've already been, they've been charged with all the murders they should be charged with, and they're in prison. That is my ideal scenario. Whether that will happen, I doubt it, but I've already charged them in my own mind, and they're already in prison serving a life sentence. And now I want to move on to the Lifetime movie and the books, and to really, really examining why and how this all happened, and how we can prevent a tragedy like this ever again from happening. So that's all I really wanted to say about that, because my head is, I want to see this all played out on screen all at once in a movie, um, and I want to try and make even more sense of it than I already have, because it's just a bizarre case, a totally bizarre case.